this is a reincarnation reading for Taurus. Um, this might not, you know, resonate for too many people, but maybe 20% of you, maybe. Um, it's just a fun reading. I've been working on this for a while, and I'm trying to get better at it. I actually found these questions from an old box of tarot cards I have. I don't use these tarot cards. They're antique. So, if you want to read along with me or take down these for, just your own peace of mind, or if you want to play with cards and things, then, be my guest. I will be doing a meaning of playing cards, the major arcanas with playing cards on Patreon at some point. I don't know, probably August. But yeah, I'll do that because I just learned myself and I think it's interesting. But anyway, so let's get into the reading with the first question. Who were you in a past life? Reincarnation. Um we have, you might have been a writer, proofreader, editor, assessment of data or communications, computer software, postal service, shipping, electronic gadgets, transportation, a teacher, or a healer. You probably had jet black hair, an angular jawline, and you were probably born September 2nd or September 11th, somewhere in there. Um, like I said, it doesn't have to resonate for anybody, but I find it interesting. So Virgo and Venus, so very grounded person, probably very, um, you know, like like you're on time for everything. So you're just like, I need to do this, this, and this. Like your schedule is set. You don't really think about too many things. You probably are very organized now to some degree. You don't have to be organized all the time. But when it comes down to important stuff, I think you're very organized or very on time to things. Um, so let's see. We have, were you married in a past life? We have yes, but it was a poor middle class because there is no Virgo sun. So it was probably an air sign, water sign, or a fire sign. Fire signs, they're firecrackers. They go in and out of a job very quickly. Um, so this person was skinny but not frail, not tall, not short, strong, a spiritual personality. Like I said, this person probably was very spiritual but wasn't very, oh, let's go get a job, type of people. But it doesn't mean that they're bad people. It just means that they were called to do something else instead of making an exorbitant amount of money. Um, which is good. Some people, they like being spiritual over, um, you know, money driven. With me, I'm both. So I like being spiritual, and I'm kind of money driven because I do have cats that I need to make sure they always are facilitated. Um, so we have, were you happy in a past life? No, you were not. Libra, no Libra and Jupiter. So there was probably a lot of pressure you were under, a lot of things that you had to do. You probably didn't get a lot of days off. Um, you probably had to be at work all the time. It probably if you took a day off, like the world would stop basically. Um, so yeah, if it was in balance, you wouldn't have to worry about too much. But I think you constantly had to prove yourself as a person of integrity. It might have been very hard for you too. Um, so number four is, what kind of work did you do in your life? You had lack of energy, and you you were blocked from a lot of communication with people. There might have been confusion, and your intentions might have been misconstrued to a point of like manipulation or kind of like not being fair. I feel like a third party in your life right now kind of doesn't think that you treat them fairly now, and you might have been reincarnated with them from a previous life. It could be a might be a fire sign. It might also be a water sign that thinks that you're not treating them fairly. Um, it's very interesting. Okay, number 5. Were you an honorable person in a past life? Maybe to some people. To a Sagittarius Capricorn, you were very nice. Um, and there was a prophecy about that. I believe that you actually married this person, this Sagittarius Capricorn. They they were kind of one of these prodigy type people. But with prodigies, yeah, it's a very delicate situation. Um, so, what type of problems or challenges did you deal with in your past reincarnation? Um, Using your power, you had weak friendships, weak social interaction, manipulative, powerful first impressions. So there was a rebirth here. I feel like, um, how do I say that? You had a lot of air in your chart when you were in your past life. Maybe you were very flaky. Maybe you were very um, short with people because your job was on the line. And it might have made it look like you weren't paying attention to a lot of people or that you were distracted a lot of times doing other things. But yeah, I find that very odd. Uh, so the first impression people got of you was probably very short tempered, very like down to the minutes. And what I mean by that is that your job's more important than the person in front of you at the moment. So like you're just there for, oh, you want this, blah blah blah, and then that's done, and move on to the next person. Okay, that's what down in the minutes is. Were you a famous person in your past life? No, you were not. You lacked a fire Jupiter. You didn't have a Jupiter fire or a strong placement of a fire sign in your chart. Um, Fire signs draw a lot of attention, so it's like they would become famous first, and then they kind of bring like their friends along, that type of thing. So interesting. So will you reincarnate after this life? That's gonna be the last question. So keep that in mind. I'm just gonna answer that without saying anything. Um, so were you in good health during your past life? For the most part, yes. You had an Aries Mars. An Aries Mars is very driven to succeed. Like you could be sick and you can still work through like pain and surgery and things. 9. How did you die in your past life? You died of depression or excessive demands from others. Opportunities start again and again and again. It was a suicide, accidental. So, there was no winter, there was no delays, there was no trials, tribulations. There's no Capricorn or Aquarius in your past life. Okay, so the reason why that's, something else is no Saturn in your chart means it was blocked. Okay, the Saturn is usually the planet of extreme truth. So if it's blocked, you were under a lot of pressure, meaning you probably had Pluto in your 8th house. Pluto in your 8th house means that if you get put under a lot of pressure, you tend to take it out on yourself. Like, and that's the 8th house of sex and death and all that good stuff. And if Pluto's in that house, it's kind of at home with what it needs to do. And at any given point in time, it just does it. But how this is placed on this reading is it actually shows that you broke up with the person that you married broke up with you, I think, or might have passed, and you just didn't want to live without him, or there was a problem there. Because it shows it on one page that you guys are together, and then it shows that y'all are apart. So it's very hard to channel things. It's like it's hard to describe too. But it looks together and then apart. Okay, so did you have a soulmate in your past life? Yes, you did. That was the person that you married in your previous life. They had strong Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn earth sign in their chart. They were born in the winter, so I'm guessing Capricorn. So very strong energy there. So, is any of your present loved ones part of your past cycle? Yes, they are. You might have a water sign that was born either in autumn or around like a cold season, not explicitly winter, kind of like a springtime or an autumn. So it's either a Pisces or a Scorpio in your family. It could also be a Cancer. But it's somebody who is very just very down to earth. It could be a parent. I feel like it's somebody's dad that could be in this. That keeps recycling in your life. So they've only cycled with you probably one cycle out of many. So they were probably either a parent or a friend in a past life, but in this life they became your parent because they probably died before you, or they probably were like really elderly when you were born. So you've been together for probably a long time in each other's lives, like 30 years in each other's lives. Okay, so it's very awkward, isn't it? Knowing somebody's cycled through. But I feel like this person gives very heartfelt advice. They don't try to judge you too harshly. They try to be like very very to the point, but they're trying to make sure you don't make a mistake, which is totally fine. So 12. Let's see. Are you linked to your parents of today from a past life? Yes, you are. They might have really attractive eyes, or they might have freckles. They don't have smooth skin, and they're very inspiring, or they're very optimistic. They could be a Scorpio sun. So I feel like it's somebody's dad, but it could be somebody's mother too. Because Cancer would be a mother sign. So Scorpio is kind of a mother sign too, I think. In the constellations, she's referred to as a she. So I'm saying mother in this case. It could be a male, but it is what it is. Okay. Are there other members of your family from past lives? Um, yes, there is. There's somebody with chestnut brown hair, brown eyes, humble, loyal, persistent, friendly, helpful, and trustworthy. This person could be a friend. This person could also be a sibling or a cousin. So this person kind of wants to give you a lot of encouragement. Um, they're probably also the the person that bails you out of really compromising situations. Like if you go to jail, they're probably the first one to set bail for you, something like that. But they're probably the first ones to help you out of a situation. So let's see. We have what do you need to learn during this lifetime? We have disharmony, imbalance, unhappy couple, and separation. So there's no Cancer in Venus. So I do feel like you might go through a lot of relationships, or you might be going through a lot of marriages that kind of lose appeal after a while. And it's not your fault, it's not the other person's fault. It's a kind of a cycle from the past cycle. You made a promise to somebody, and every time you marry, you kind of lose interest. Every time you're in a relationship, you lose interest. Um, the reason for this isn't really explained, but I feel like you made a big promise to somebody very many cycles ago. And I feel like your cycle keeps repeating itself in the respective a love relationship until this person cycles back through. I feel like this person hasn't cycled through for 2 cycles. So, that might be a problem. You might love people, all right, and that's no fault of yours. But I feel like the person that you're looking for hasn't cycled through yet. It's been 2 cycles, they haven't cycled through yet, and you might get them on the 4th cycle. The reason is because um, they have an ULP season. An ULP season is like when you go from 1 to 12. Um, it takes about 4 turns of a rotary phone. And the reason why I'm mentioning a rotary phone is because in your life, you've been trying to find your soulmate. You've been calling this person. This person might be sending messages to you, and you might not realize. And it might be them answering your questions. You might not realize this. You might think it's an act of God or the divine or whatever have you, but this person's actually calling you back on something we psychics and tarot readers like to call as the cosmos of intent. Cosmos of intent is when the universe answers your deepest, darkest questions. Are you going to find love? Yes. Are you going to find love in this generation? Probably not. No. You might lust over people. You might think that's love, but this person that you're waiting on will cycle through in the 4th cycle. So you have 2 more cycles to go, and you'll find this person probably exactly where you both stopped. Might be a little bit earlier than expected though. So the 4th cycle, very early. And you're going to be talking about some mundane activity like the weather. I find that very funny. So you'll find them. I feel like you might not recognize them, but they'll make you aware that they are your person. So will you reincarnate from this present life? I don't think the next life you're going to be incarnated. You're going through something called a queen cycle. A queen cycle is kind of like a rest, beauty sleep, if you will. And then you'll go into the royalty cycle, which is finding your soulmate through cycles. Um, it's going to be a cosmetic cycle. So it's going to be probably you meet each other when you're kids type of thing. Um, so that's all I have for you, Taurus. If you like this, it was for fun. If you would like to do this yourself, be my guest. It's a lot of fun to do. You actually get to know more about your past lives and things like that. I didn't like how the other people that do tarot readings were doing this. I think everybody has their own way of doing things, but like I kind of had more questions than they were answering, and I know a lot of people, they do the same thing I do. They're like, what would happen if this happened, or I have a lot more questions. Why'd you only ask two? And with me, I like asking a bunch of questions, so it's a nice round story. So if anybody wants to rewrite their own past cycle, that's fine with me. Um, but yeah, just listen, rewrite the questions, and make them your own. And if you like playing with tarot cards, by all means, you can find the meanings to different things as well if you like. Um, I think tarot is like the biggest discovery journey that you can ever take in your life. So if you want to read cards, by all means do so. Or if you want somebody to actually read them for you, but bring your questions along, do that. And tarot readers, they like playing with their cards as much as I do, but my cards are they're a little aggressive, but yeah, I feel like some other cards might have been more appropriate for this. They do have past life cards, but they have ghosts on them. I don't like dealing with too many ghosts. I deal with haunted houses and dead people for heavens to Murgatroyd. But yeah, just try to do like little things with tarot card reading. Don't do too much because it does give you insight to things that you might have not thought were possible. And a lot of people, they don't believe that stuff. So yeah, with me, I've had a lot of visions. I'm kind of having like it's so Raven vision. But yeah, I've seen a lot of things. So I have the visions of like historic events. It's fun. But yeah, just be aware that a lot of tarot cards and magical items shouldn't be used by novices. Don't use a Jewish witch box for fun. Um, I actually have like a tear in the back of my ribs from my box. My little witch came out and scratched me in the back with something really sharp. So don't play around with any cursed items. Some of them are actually cursed. I can handle it though. It's fine. So Taurus, make sure that you respect magical items. You respect yourselves. You have fun with this. I think this is a fun activity to do, especially on Halloween. If you want to excite your friends or scare your mom or whatever you want to do. I would do it too. But like, yeah, I'm gonna do a tarot table for one of the cardinal carnival events. So, it's gonna be fun. Anyway, I will see you in the next reading. Take care of yourselves. Take care of everyone. Do something nice for yourselves. Respect magical items. Some people were like, what do I do with this? And that's why I mentioned it. Just respect it. Um, always have rosemary on you. Garlic only works for vampires, but have rosemary on you because like it keeps away evil intended spirits. Don't do anything too crazy. Okay. Just try to ease the energies. Okay. Anyway, I'll see you later. All right. Take care of yourselves.